Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all my Neos Beatdown Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile. I wanted to build this deck. I was actually inspired to build this deck after watching the Yu-Gi-Oh GX Season 4, where Jaden played against Truman 3 times. He was one of the antagonists for the season. And what I noticed from all 3 of the Truman fights is that he just used Neos himself to defeat Truman each and every time. So I want to go for the sole strength of Neos, focusing on the many different equip spells that associate with Neos, some of the spells meant specifically for Neos, and not having to use any of the Elemental Hero Neos fusions in this deck. This deck is going to be solely reliant on Neos power himself to use all of his potential with the spells that I mentioned before. It's a really awesome deck. I'm happy with the results of it. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the main deck monsters, our main go-to boss is Elemental Hero Neos. I wasn't sure which version of Neos to use. Let me know what version of Neos is your favorite down in the comments below. If you like the dual power alternate art, or if you like the original. I think I'm still a fan of the original, but still wanted to show both art styles some love. But he's your go-to boss monster, and the boss monster of Jaden Yuki as well, having 2,500 attack points. It's your main monster that you'll use with most of the spells in the deck, and the main focus of the deck is just to easily get him out onto the field as well. If we can't get Neos out onto the field, we'll rely on his next counterpart, which is Elemental Hero Neos Alias. It is a Gemini monster, and when you can additionally normal summon it, it gains the card effect of this card becomes Elemental Hero Neos while on the field. So also being a Gemini monster does have some of the perks of being able to use it with cards like Gemini Spark for the added power in the deck. But once you do make it so it can count as Neos, you can use it with some of the other spells running in the deck as well, like Wrath of Neos, and gain the full potential with a monster we didn't even have to use 2 tributes to summon out onto the field to begin with. Now, one of the cards in the deck that is still important for powering up Neos is Neo Space. So we want just some search power for that card. So I am running 2 copies of Neo Space Pathfinder. We are running Terraforming in the deck as well, but having Neo Space Pathfinder, you can discard this card to the graveyard to add 1 Neo Space from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So even if your opponent destroys it and you have all copies of Neo Space out of the main deck, you can at least still use Pathfinder to discard it to the graveyard to add the copy of Neo Space back from your graveyard to your hand. So you have search from the deck or graveyard depending on where you want to search for. I ran only 2 though. There's no additional benefit like when you have Elemental Hero Captain Gold, you still have a 2,100 attack point monster on the field if Neospace is already on the field. Neospace Pathfinder is just a searcher. There's really no other boost on the field or big attacker because I'd still prefer to summon out Neos Alias over this card onto the field. And the other variant of Neos that we are running in the deck is 2 copies of Elemental Hero Honest Neos, just another booster to our main go-to boss monster in the deck, and it was also used by Jaden against Truman in their 3rd and final fight. He used it in the Honest form where he discarded Honest to power up Neos, but still Honest Neos being searchable with some of the other elemental heroes that we run in the deck, and being able to reach those heights is still a great addition into the deck to use without having to focus on any of the elemental hero fusion monsters. For some more generic hero support, I do also run 2 copies of Elemental Hero Stratos. I only run 2 copies though. It's just a searcher. When it's normal summon, you can add 1 hero monster from your deck to your hand. So then you can add Neos to your hand and then just have it in your hand ready to special summon out. We do run a hero lives, so we have the special summon option to get Stratos, but with it only being able to really get Stratos or our next go-to hero that we run in the deck, or Elemental Hero Neos Alias, which is a great target because then we can just use our normal summon and have Neos Alias use it to then normal summon it out onto the field and become Elemental Hero Neos. The final monster that we run is Elemental Hero Prisma. Now we do run 1 fusion monster in the extra deck just so it can be the additional target for our go-to monster, being able to then use that monster's reveal with this card once per turn, revealing a fusion monster from your extra deck and sending 1 monster whose name is on that specific listed card to the graveyard, and then this monster becomes that name. So it's just like Neos Alias, just with Prisma being able to become Elemental Hero Neos that much more quickly just by revealing it, sending a Neos to the graveyard, and then we also have the Elemental Hero Neos in the graveyard to then summon back onto the field afterwards. that is it for the main deck monsters. I wanted to go with just a fully focused Elemental Hero lineup with Neo Space Pathfinder included as well. Moving on now to the spells, I run 2 copies of Neo Space. We just have additional searchers in the deck. That's why I'm only running 2 of this card. It's a booster for Elemental Hero Neos, 500 attack points on the field, and it also works with one of the other equip spells that we are running in the deck to additionally power up Neos on the field to begin with. But most of the time it is just a 500 point booster, but getting your Elemental Hero Neos to 3,000 attack points is definitely a big plus there all on its own, so then you can hit those numbers even harder with this card. I also run one of probably the best spells we have to use with Neos is Wrath of Neos. You target one Elemental Hero Neos in your monster zone, shuffle that Neos into the deck, and if you do, destroy all cards on the field. So this can just wipe your opponent clear, and just all you have to do is give up your Elemental Hero Neos, but then we have other ways to search it, obviously, in the deck. But this card just being able to clear out your opponent's field, it will clear out yours as well, so it's best to use if you just have that Neos set up on the field, activating Wrath of Neos, shuffling yours back into the deck, and then use it to clear their entire board on the field. So very, very fun to use. Also, they never see it really coming. They don't know that Neos has a total destruction spell card that can fully rely on its own. But for more of a booster for Neos to also get over some pesky cards on the field, we're running 3 copies of Neos Force. Equip only to Elemental Hero Neos. It gains 800 attack when it destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, and inflict damage to your opponent equal to the original attack of the destroyed monster in the graveyard. And during the end phase, shuffle this card into the deck. So you'll shuffle Neos Force, but it's an 800 attack point boost if you combine it with Neo Space. That's 3,600 or 3,800, sorry for the incorrect math there, combined with Neos on the field together. So I like to run 3 copies of this card just so we always have that additional boost and way to get over some of your opponent's cards, and sends it to the graveyard, inflicting that additional damage to your opponent when you use it. I thought of using Light Laser as well. If you wanted, you can mix and match the Light Laser equip with Neos as well. It's more of the answer for banishing cards on the field, but Neos Force can at least inflict more damage to your opponent when you just attack with Neos. I also run 2 copies of Assault Armor, equip only to a warrior type monster. That is the only monster you control. It gains 300 attack. During your main phase, you can send this equip card to the graveyard. If you do, the equip monster can attack twice during the battle phase this turn. So once again, it is a power-up card, and I like that it does have Neos on the card. So not directly involved with Neos, but still a great way to make it so it can attack twice against your opponent. And also during the end phase, you shuffle Neos Force back into the deck. So if you have Assault Armor and then you equip Neos Force onto Neos, you still have a monster with 3,300 attack ready to swing twice at your opponent's monsters and deal pretty massive damage, with both of those monsters being destroyed by Neos as well. For some of the other spells, I run 2 copies of Gemini Spark. It is a destruction card just by attributing a face-up level 4 Gemini monster you control. Target 1 card on the field, destroy it, and you draw 1 card. So you can make full use of your Neos Alias on the field with an additional quick play spell to set and use against your opponent, then to activate, and then just destroy their resource. I also run 3 copies of E-Emergency Call. I thought of running Summoner's Art just as having an additional search card in the deck, but for the fact that an E-Emergency Call can add any elemental hero from our deck to our hand, made me choose it over it, and I felt like we had plenty of search with the forms of Stratos and Prisma in the deck as well, to just keep it at 3 Emergency Call and not also have to rely on Summoner's Art. For some of the more generic support, I'm running 2 Favorite Hero. This is the card that I spoke of before that works with Neospace. You equip only to a level 5 or higher hero monster. If you control a card in your field zone, the equipped monster gains attack equal to its original defense. Also, your opponent cannot target it with card effects. At the start of battle phase, you can activate 1 field spell directly from your hand or deck. You can only use this effect of Favorite Hero once per turn, and when the equipped monster attacks and destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can send this card to the graveyard. The attacking monster can make a second attack in a row. So it's very similar to Assault Armor for the play to then have it attack twice, but then you also just have the additional boost that your favorite hero can gain on the field because of it. For more special summoning from the hand, just an easy way to special summon Neos out onto the field, I run 3 copies of Ancient Rules. You special summon 1 level 5 or higher normal monster from your hand. So if you have the search for Neos, you can just activate your Ancient Rules and special summon it onto the field with no repercussions added with this card. It can attack and be fully ready to go up against your opponent. course, if you have multiples of Ancient Rules, you can activate it as long as you have the Neos to special summon onto the field. And I also run 2 copies of Silent Doom. If you have Monster Reborn, you can replace 1 copy of this card for the copy of Monster Reborn additionally in the deck. Silent Doom, you target a normal monster in your graveyard, special summon it in defense, but it cannot attack. But I still like to use Silent Doom, even though the monster cannot attack. You can activate Silent Doom, special summoning Neos, and then just activate Wrath of Neos. With that play, it's in defense anyway. More than likely, your opponent will try and destroy it, shuffle it back into the deck, and then you'll take out all of your opponent's cards. And then also, for the additional spell cards, I run 1 copy of Terraforming to search out the Neo space, 1 Reinforcements of the Army, and also 1 Hero Lives. I was debating wanting to run Terraforming or not, since we do have a pretty good amount of search with Pathfinder and also Favorite Hero. So if you wanted to take out the Terraforming, you could always put in the Monster Reborn space right there for it. And then moving on now to the extra deck. The only fusion monster I run is Elemental Hero Marine Neos for the reveal and search with cards like Elemental Hero Prisma, since you have to reveal a fusion monster from your extra deck and send one of the materials off of it. So you'll send the Elemental Hero Neos to the graveyard to have Prisma gain the name of Elemental Hero Neos on the field. And I also run 1 extra hero Infernal Devicer, the same play when it's link summon, revealing a hero fusion in your extra deck and adding up to 2 fusion materials. So if you use 2 hero monsters with this card, you can then at least use it to search out Neos and add it to your hand as well with this card. And 1 extra hero Dread Decimator for the added boost. I wasn't going for any of the fusion monsters, but having more of the generic lineup to use for our heroes does come in handy, since this card also gives a boost to our heroes on the field and also gives them inflicted piercing battle damage when this card attacks a defense monster. For more of the generic Link monsters, I also run 1 copy of Isolde to Tales of the Noble Knights. Now, one other thing I noticed with Isolde, if you wanted to run Light Laser, and let's say take out 1 copy of Assault Armor or 1 copy of Neos Force, you'll have enough equip spells in the form of Assault Armor, Favorite Hero, Neos Force, and also your Light Laser to be able to send 4 different equip spells to special summon a warrior monster to the field, giving you access to any of the level 4 hero monsters we have in the deck. So then with that special summon, you have another play to rely on. It's preference there. If you want to add Light Laser in, you'll just get the additional special summon on top of the search that Isolde can provide in the deck. And then also 1 copy of Barricade Board Blocker to recycle the field spell. If you don't have the Pathfinder, 1 copy of Hip Hoshinengen, 1 Lena the Light Charmer, and then also 1 Nightmare Cerberus, and 1 Link Spider. You can use your Gemini monster to summon Link Spider out onto the field. It just also gives you an out if you have a Neos in defense, and then you need to send it off to the graveyard with the normal summon play, and then be able to special summon it back onto the field with either one of your other spell cards or one of our rank 4 Xyz monsters, which I'll get to in just a bit, with the final Link monster just being 1 copy of Nightmare Unicorn for the shuffle back power as a better Link 3 to use. And then for the Xyz monsters, I run 1 copy of Heroic Challenge Excalibur, 1 Daigusto Morale. This is the special summon of a non-effect monster in your graveyard, so you can use 2 of your level 4 heroes, overlay into this, detach 1, and then go into your Elemental Hero Neos as a special summon from the graveyard. Also 1 Tornado Dragon, 1 Baguska, and 1 Gaia Dragon, the Thunder Charger, for another rank 7 option. I rarely go into the rank 7s, but it's an added option to go into. And then as for some of the go-to plays in the deck, special summoning out Neos is one of your biggest ones. So even just with your go-to of 2 cards in your hand, if you open up Neos, or you add with it to your hand with E-Emergency Call, and you have cards like Ancient Rules in your hand, you can add the E-Emergency Call, summoning out your Neos with the Ancient Rules, and then it comes down to you use 2 cards for the Search and Summon if you have any additional cards in your hand. Some power-up plays like your Neos Force, or even Favorite Hero. If you activate and equip Favorite Hero, you'll be able to then also set up your Neo space on the field and then have Neos attack, putting it at a total with the boost of Neo space and the 2,000 defense gain at 5,000 attack points ready to go up against your opponent. If you go for another search, let's say you have the setup with your A Hero Lives, you can activate A Hero Lives on the field, and then from there you can go for the special summon of your Elemental Hero Neos Alias on the field, taking up that normal summon. You can even play it in attack position, then use the effect of it, and have it be your normal summon. This will count it as Neos, and then you'll also have the additional equip for your monsters, and still have the Gemini Spark active if it's in your hand, but then you'll also be able to rely on Wrath of Neos without having to use the big tribute. You'll just be able to shuffle back your Elemental Hero Neos, that's what Alias will be counted as, into the deck, and then destroy all of the cards that your opponent may have on the field. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. I had a lot of fun building the deck, so I hope you all enjoy giving it a try. I just wanted to go with the all-out power that Elemental Hero Neos had without having to rely on any of the fusion monsters, just like Jaden did in many of his fights, not just including Truman, but plenty of the Season 2 and 3 fights as well. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira, Twig out.